I have a few political questions coming up. They're about
Okay.
the political views of GamerGate supporters. I know that you don't want to talk about politics too
I don't
much.
care. I'm fine with talking about the idiots.
Okay. Some critics argue that GamerGate was mostly or entirely right wing. Do you think that is accurate?
Originally, no. 90% of us weren't that way. I think a lot of people got burned by the left and big time. Like, there was stupid shit in there that people did that wanted to call us, like the whole Ghostbusters controversy and stuff. It was stupid shit like that that did not paint one side in a good light. But the right wingers, oh god, he hated those people. I mean, they drove me just as crazy as the other ones did because it made me think, oh, maybe the right is right. And I was like, you just made me think of a party that I don't stand with to think I support them. And 9 times out of 10, let's just say it, let's just say my beliefs were shaken at that time quite a bit. But then I went back to my beliefs of being a moderate where I thought, okay, I'm going to take the sides of both sides, see who's right in one area and who's right in another area. That's what being a moderate's about. And I do not like working with extremists. And by that time, when the politics got heavy into it, I was like, yeah, this is not right for my health. That's when my health started taking downward spiral. And my mom literally gave me an ultimatum of either go to a psychiatrist or I'm going to have them institutionalize you. It was around that time.
We have a question from Mist Sonata in the chat
Mhm.
who asks, "What do you think of games like Depression Quest and Gone Home?"
You know what? I mean, they shouldn't be considered games, but they're interactive experiences. Like Gone Home, I have no problem with it. I mean, I bought it and I didn't have a problem with it. I mean, I thought it was a survival horror and it wasn't. I got gypped on that end. When they lie about what it is, that's when uh that's when I have a problem. But if they want to make their own narrative, I mean, yeah, I had a few issues with how Gone Home was written, but that was just what they thought of doing the story of. It was just about a troubled girl who fell in love with another that went to the military and then they ran off together. That's all it was. It wasn't anything. It wasn't anything else. It was just you walking around the house, slowly unlocking the doors and reading the poorly voiced lines of sorry. I forgot the character's name. Sam, I think it was, or whoever it was. It was like, hey, this is what happened and stuff. And you just slowly read the journal and stuff the whole time and you walked through. I mean, the atmosphere of it could have made it survival horror gold. Do you remember when PT came out? Silent Hill PT came out.
I've actually never played a single Silent Hill game, but I love Resident Evil.
Oh, but I'm just saying it had that feeling where you're walking around an abandoned house, and this is more of like a mansion than a house, like a giant, like a borderline small mansion. And you're walking around it and stuff, and most of the doors are locked, and you have to find ways to get around it and stuff. It was almost like an exploration puzzle game for Gone Home, and that was fine. I actually enjoyed that part of it, but I mean, by trying to say it was survival horror is what I had a problem with.
You
I
said that.
mean,
Good.
yeah, go ahead.
You said that they're interactive experiences, but you wouldn't classify them as games. Do you think it's useful to draw that distinction?
Oh yeah, video games, for instance, like Mass Effect Andromeda, I'm playing right now. You could lose out big time. You have a chance of failure. That's what I think of it as a video game. The stakes are you have a chance of losing. When it comes to something like Gone Home, there was no chances of losing. It's just an infinite. It's a game that lasts as long as you want it to. It's a experience that lasts as long as you want it to last. Like VR things that you play. Like if you had an Oculus Quest or an Oculus Rift or whatever, and you want to play a VR experience, you could do that. Like my mom, when I first bought my Quest 2, my mom saw the Anne Frank housing and she wanted to try it. And it's things like that. They're experiences. They're not games. you're learning something. Like there was another one for the Quest 2, which was a NASA an International Space Station experience where you're literally seeing what it feels like you're looking through the eyes of an astronaut. It's things like that. They're experiences. They're not games, but they're experiences, and they're pretty good at being that.
So you think in order for it to be a game, it has to have the ability to win or lose?
Yes, that's a game. That's a term for a game. I think video games anymore are being blanketed. I mean, like for instance, Gone Home and Dear Esther. Dear Esther didn't have a point of failure in it. It was just like a long, and it was a beautifully done atmosphere for the thing, the experience. It had an amazing atmosphere for being a source game. I'm not kidding. They actually did a good job at just creating the world itself around, and you just walking down. It was just like a story time of, okay, what is the story? And you're trying to draw the conclusions in your own head. Oh, is it about this? Oh, is it him talking to his dead wife and trying to get over the acceptance type of thing? It's things like that that make you think, but there is no point of failure in that. Just like the VR headsets, like the roller coaster rides that you could do, which I've known a lot of people, a lot of family friends of mine would do first when they put the VR headset on. That is not a point of failure. But like the Star Wars games I had on it, yeah, you would lose out. You had a chance of failure. But Beat Saber, for instance, has a chance of failure or success. It depends on how you play it. You just have to draw the line between if it's something you have to put, if it's something that you could take. Damn it. It's just something. There's a line to be drawn of what a game is and what experience is. Like a visual novel, for instance. Heck, like when I talked about Yandere Simulator with that messed up developer we found out about, that had a point of failure, even though it had more of the looks of a virtual experience. There's a point of failure in that. So it could have been called the game, but now it's going to be nothing because the dev was a complete total dipshit. But I mean, there are times where a visual novel could have a point of failure, and then you could call it a game. But you have to, it has to have stakes in it for it to be a game. That's how I put it. Like not Mass Effect, XCOM, for instance. That's a perfect way of saying you could get hit by failure at any cost. Like you could put like 50 hours in, or like 20 hours in XCOM, and you could lose out big time and lose the entire progress that you made. Like there are things like that, but there are things as light as, let's say, Mass Effect, where you die and then you could instantly restart the level or the area that you were in at the save point. It's things like that. There could be like a great punch to your gut like XCOM, or it could be a light punch to the gut or a light slap on the face like most FPSs.
I know you've talked about how you view the extremes as a major problem, and you view yourself as a moderate. Do you want to talk about your own political views?
I am a centrist and stuff. I've really never liked to take political sides in any way. Uh, oh yeah, I agree with that one. But uh, I do not like to take political sides anymore. I've seen what politics has done to my family and stuff, and it's not a good thing. So I've always taken the center on everything. Like I have refused. I side with the people that are not fully nutcases. That's my opinion on sides. I've only taken sides with people and very lightly taken sides with the non-nutcases. I don't fully take their sides because I know give it another 5, 10 years and they'll be the nutcases again. It's a pendulum. That's what politics are like. It's just a pendulum of moderate people, of people that have their minds in order, and then they become extreme, and the other people get their minds in order, and then they get extreme. It's just a back and forth pendulum of politics. That's why I don't like getting involved with it anymore. trust me, I have a dad who's a very hardline Republican, and I have a lot of high school teachers that are hardline liberal. So I do know from a fact of what happens when people argue, and I learned that the GamerGate thing was a wake up call to me to that it's not good for my mental health.
Thank you for watching another GamerGate book video segment. For 30 days, starting on December 9th, I'm running a Kickstarter campaign for this project, so please back the campaign for the people of GamerGate on Kickstarter or at gamergatebook.com. This project investigating and documenting the history of GamerGate from a variety of perspectives requires your support, and I appreciate it. Thank you.